G'day, this is George, and today is 23rd of February 2026. I'm here to talk about the message of hope. And I want to tell you about a conversation I had with an ex-colleague. This is going back over 20 years ago, and when I think about it, yeah, at times still make me shake my head. You see, we were talking about insurance, life insurance, trauma, income protection, and he gave me this look. You know the look, the one that says, I'm about to say something clever, I know more than you. And he said, yeah, I better cross the road, on my way to grocery. What's the difference between paying insurance premiums and gambling? Okay, well, he says, you're just betting something bad is going to happen, isn't it? And I can tell he seemed pretty pleased with himself. Yeah. Now, this wasn't a humble man, and he wasn't a Christian either, I'm pretty sure. Which perhaps explains why his understanding of stewardship began and ended with his own confidence that nothing bad would ever happen to him. I didn't argue with him before, but I thought about that conversation many times since. And you get to see what I stand for. Because here the difference between insurance and gambling, and it's not really complicated. When you gamble, you're chasing an unpredictable outcome. That is a fact. You might win, you might, but most likely you probably won't. However, when you take out insurance, you're guaranteeing a predictable, favorable outcome, which is why a legitimate business. If something terrible happens, well, your family's protected. Your debts are covered if you do the right things. The people you love don't have to carry a burden they were never meant to carry alone. That wouldn't be right. So again, I'm going to say that's not gambling, that is wisdom. Now I remember, this is more than 10 years ago, my insurance account manager said something to me once I've never forgotten. She said, George, I hope you never have to make a claim, because if you do, it means something terrible has happened. She's right. Now just sit with that for a moment. The very thing we hope never happens is the very thing the policy exists for. And somehow that makes people reluctant to take it seriously. Here's what I find generally baffling. Most people spend hours comparing car insurance policies, searching for holiday comparisons too, right? Well, they'll agonize over home insurance excess amounts. Sure, they'll insure a boat they take out twice a year perhaps. But life insurance, trauma cover, income protection, yeah, somehow that conversation never quite happens, does it? When we get a car, we'll protect the car in the driveway before we'll protect the person driving it. Strange to me. I mean, come on. Does that make any sense? Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I already have life insurance through my superannuation. Good for you. And I want that. I want that, alright? I'm genuinely glad for you. And I hope it's enough. But here's the question I genuinely ask. What happens if the event doesn't cause your death, but leave you seriously injured or critically ill? What happens when you're alive but unable to work? It's possible, right? Yeah. When medical bills are arriving faster than your savings can handle them, what are you going to do? When the mortgage still needs paying and the kid's still feeding, and you lie in a hospital bed, wondering how long the family can hold on. That's not a good situation to be in, is it? Now, life cover through superannuation does address one scenario, which is when you pass away. I'm going to explain that trauma, income protection, address the ones you're most likely actually going to face. Okay? Those are the statistics. And those are the ones that drain a family financially, emotionally, in a way that death, as brutal as it sounds, sometimes doesn't. I know I sleep better at night, knowing my family and I are covered. The life, trauma, income protection, all of it. Not because I expect catastrophe, but because I understand something my ex-colleague hadn't worked out yet. Haven't spoken to him for a long time, so I don't know. You see, I believe it's not my life alone to risk. I have a wife, I have people who depend on me, and if something happened tomorrow that left me unable to work, the question isn't just what happens to me, it's what happens to them. Who carries the weight? Who services the mortgage? Who covers the debt? Oh, but to be upfront, I'm totally debt free, which has pros and cons, but I think you get the point. Think about it. If I have an outstanding debt and no insurance to cover it, I'm not really being brave or frugal or even trusting in God's provision. I'm playing Russian roulette with someone else's future, my family's future. To me, that's not stewardship. So I'm going to read you what Proverbs 27 verse 12 says. The prudent sees danger and hides himself, but the simple go on and suffer for it. The prudent sees danger and hides himself. I had to repeat that. So that's not fear, that's wisdom. The simple go on and suffer for it. And that's not faith, that is negligence dressed up as confidence. Don't be like that. Now, God never called us to be reckless with the lives and the futures of people entrusted to our care. I never read that in the Bible, that they want us to be reckless. He called us to be wise stewards. Wise stewardship sometimes means paying for something you genuinely hope you never need. Okay? There's quite a few people coming up in the morning. I bet they're also doing grocery shopping. Now, I'm aware that there are people who had never had any insurance policy in their lives. Nothing catastrophic has ever happened to them. They smoke cigars until they're 100 perhaps. Yeah, I'm glad nothing happened to you. But I would ask honestly, is that wisdom or is that fortune? Because the two look identical right up until the moment they don't. You just never know. Sure, insurance isn't compulsory. No one's going to force you into it. But personally, I don't like Russian roulette. I never did. Yeah, I mean, the goal isn't to live in fear of the future. It's to love the people in your present well enough to protect them from it. And like people who like to play Russian roulette with their family and finance, I know I sleep remarkably well knowing that. And I want that same assurance for you. So please consider it, pray about it, and put in a comment if you have any opinions. Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.